Hey guys, welcome to another talk. The title of the class today, there's no right way to do the wrong thing. No, so sorry. There is no right way to do the wrong thing. Second aspect of the Noble Eightfold Path. Today we are talking about right thinking or right intention. Okay, let's start with the story. Several years ago in New York, a police officer got himself into the limelight, evening news, because of his astonishing act, what he did. While alone on his patrol in the neighborhood, he came across $35,000 in drug money stashed away somewhere. But he saw it, looked at it, 35 grand, okay, yummy, yummy. But he handed it in as evidence. Yeah, he didn't take it. He took it to the police station, gave it in, and that's what happened. When the media heard about his act, everybody wanted to interview him. Yeah. Even the governor, no, not governor, the mayor, awarded him with an award for his honesty. He was in the media, hot stuff. So when the reporters asked him, hey, tell us, that was a lot of money. You were all alone. You could have easily taken it. Why didn't you? Here's what he said. He said, actually, to be honest, I did think about taking it. But then I thought about my pension, which is worth a lot more than 35 grand. And I didn't want to risk losing my pension in case I was caught. And of course, if I was caught, I would be doing a stint in the prison. So I didn't want to risk all that for just a mere 35 grand. Oh, that's great. That's great. Would you say he was an honest cop? I wouldn't. What would have happened if, instead of 35 grand, he came across $1 million stashed away somewhere? Well, if we were to follow his own logic, he would have grabbed it without a second thought, because $1 million is definitely a lot more than his pension ever could be. Yeah, he would have grabbed it and taken the next flight out with his family, if he had one, to South America to enjoy his windfall. That's what he would have done, most likely. The appalling thing in this story is that nobody was able to detect the flaw in his character. All they could see was his action, not the motive behind the action. They overlooked that fact. Yeah. Crazy. This story is about a potentially dishonest cop whose price had not yet been met. Yeah. Doing the right thing for the wrong reason, or the wrong thing for the right reason, does not reflect integrity. Not at all. Integrity basically requires that our motives, as well as our actions, both of them, have to be honest and insightful. Integrity demands unstinting loyalty and clarity to sound principles, not cold calculation or expediency. Integrity, okay, intention. What does expediency mean? It's doing something practical, even though it's not skillful or morally correct. You're speeding, cop catches you. You bribe the cop. Practical, not skillful, not morally correct. You're not willing to change your habit of speeding. You're willing to just keep bribing the cops that catch you when you're doing something which is not skillful. Expediency. Another example, being overly busy at work to provide for the family and vacations, the nice house, and so forth, at the expense of personal refinement. Expediency. It's practical, but it's not skillful. Then let us look at what happened in 2008. Do you remember? Global financial crisis. Check out what happened. It was based on expediency. Yeah, check out how many people suffered because of expediency. Doing the wrong thing for the right reason, or the right thing for the wrong reason, creates massive suffering. Massive. So let's take a look at a few examples of this. Doing the right thing for the wrong reason. Let's take an example. When someone serves a society in some way, through charity, or building a hospital, a school, they have the funds, they do that. But it's not because they care about the people. It's for personal gain. Yeah? Their status in society, financial gain. Yeah? Doing the right thing for the wrong reason. Helping society in some way. Not because you care about the society. You care about yourself. Egocentric desires. Oh, what a great person this is. He's built a hospital. He's built a school for these poor people. Yeah? Egocentric desires. Not as skillful. Then let's look at the other example of doing the wrong thing. No, doing the right thing for the wrong reason. Okay? Pay attention now. It is not skillful for us to get embroiled in family dramas. Not skillful. Oh, but I love these people. My parents, my kids, my whatever. Yeah? Right reason. You care about these people. But it is not the right thing to get embroiled in family dramas. What is a family drama? It's a scenario where everybody is keen to be heard, but nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. It's a toxic environment in which people are addicted to complaining, but resistant to the solutions being offered to them. That's a family drama. Wrong thing for the right reason. You care about these people, But it is not skillful to get embroiled in these family dramas. Why? Let's see. Let's take a look. It is totally futile to reason anybody out of their prejudices and opinions they never reasoned into. Got that? It's completely futile to reason anyone out of their prejudices and opinions which they never reasoned into. Irrational frequencies. So when we get caught up in family dramas, two things happen. Not skillful. First, it ruins our health. Anger, rage, disappointment ruins our health. Second, it distracts us from keeping the main thing the main thing. There's so many other people out there in the world who are ready to listen to good advice. Focus on that. Stop focusing where your time, energy, and attention is not appreciated. Get out of that ball game. Yeah, doing the wrong thing for the right reason can cause suffering, a lot of. Here's another example. Some years ago, a huge fire consumed almost 1,000 acres in a mountain landscape. Yeah. The fire raged for 3 whole days. And the firefighters were laboring night and day to save the homes of the people who lived in the path of the fire. Yeah? Massive chaos. And guess what started the fire? There was a zombie living in the area who decided to burn his trash to save the environment. Yeah. Birthdays. Yeah. I didn't want to put my waste in the dump. I had to burn it. Yes, fine. You wanted to burn it. But shouldn't you have taken some proper precautions? Look at the damage. Yeah. The wrong thing for the right reasons. He wanted to protect the environment. Zombie mode. Save us, Lord. All right. Now, there are always exceptions to the rule. In pretty much everything, exceptions to the rule are there. For example, lying is not a good idea. Dishonesty. Nah. But there are times when a lie could save a life, either human or animal. Yeah? Do you remember my story in one of the videos? In college, this fellow came knocking on my door in the night. Behram, save me, Colonel wants to kill me. And I hid him under the bed. Remember that? And then when Colonel came looking for him, knocking on my door, I said, no, I haven't seen him. I don't know where he is. And this guy's squirming under my bed. Okay? I lied. Okay. Here's another example. Suppose you're out on a photo safari, yeah, taking photos of these beautiful animals in the wilderness. And a deer jumps out of the bushes from the right side, crosses across your Jeep, and runs over to that side and goes this way. A minute later, a hunter comes along with his rifle. And he's panting and sweating and says, did you see where it went? You say, yeah, that way. Yeah, you pointed me in the wrong direction. That's a lie. Would you have said, no, he's gone over there? Unless you're in zombie mode, you wouldn't. Okay? Hi, exceptions to the rule. Thinking, therefore, right thinking. That's what the class is about. Right thinking is about learning to live consciously. Birthdays creates a lot of suffering. Yeah? Learning to live consciously with a long-term view in mind. Long-term. A long-term view that extends over lifetimes. Not just profit and the happiness of this life. You have to think long term. Your journey is long, really long towards awakening. Okay. So, what exactly is right thinking or right intention? Well, the Buddha tells us that it consists of three things: renunciation, loving kindness, and harmlessness. Right thinking or right intention, renunciation, loving kindness, and harmlessness towards all living things, people, animals, creatures, environment, all living things. No harming, no exploiting. So, what do we need to renounce? Egocentric desires. Me. What else do we have to renounce? Unverified opinions that have no bearing on reality and which cause harm to ourselves and other beings. Let go of all these unskillful frequencies. Loving kindness equates with unconditional love towards the world at large. Unconditional, no conditions. And harmlessness, compassion. We need compassion for the suffering. Don't put salt on the wounds. Okay, let's see what this means. The only way, the only way to practice the Dhamma correctly is through personal refinement. Because it is only through personal refinement that the teachings become real for us. No longer in the head. We live the teachings. Okay? So, to live the teachings well, through personal refinement, we have to be very clear about the intentions that fuel our actions or the desires which fuel our actions. Same thing. Because whatever we put out into the universal matrix is what comes back to us. Yep, it comes back. So sorry. Yeah. If it is skillful, we harvest a crop of happiness, joy, love, yumminess. If what we're sending out into the universal matrix is unskillful, there's nowhere you can hide from the painful consequences that will be coming to you in a Mack truck, 18-wheeler, bearing down on you to deliver your goods. Massive suffering. Okay? It can come in a Mack truck, it can come on an airplane, cargo plane, it can come in shipload. Yeah? Many ways of delivery, FedEx, suffering. Okay. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about, which most people are clueless about, including you. The person we choose to marry, our choice of career, the friends we rely on, and even our intention towards spiritual practice. These are very important decisions everybody makes. Yeah. The person we choose to marry. Yummy, yummy. Our choice of career. Yummy, yummy. Money, money, money. The friends we rely on. And our desire to practice the Dhamma. Very important choices. And yet, the majority of people on the planet do not make these choices wisely. The thing with these very important decisions is that they influence the quality and climate of our life for years to come, sometimes decades, sometimes an entire lifetime. The influence, yeah, powerful choices influence us for long term. And people walk into these intentions, fuel these intentions, subscribe to these intentions unwisely. And therefore, looky, lot of suffering in marriage, lot of suffering in career choices, lot of suffering with friends who betrayed us. And Dhamma, let's see what happens with there. Stay tuned. Let's look at a few reasons why we engage in these important decisions unskillfully and to stay away from these intentions. Because whatever we put out into the universal matrix comes back to us in amplified form. Amplified. Remember, one mango seed will not give you just one mango tree. It will give you endless amounts of mango trees, amplified. Because one mango tree, many mangoes, many seeds, more mango trees. The universe is expanding. Want to be very clear, not to intend wrongly, because the amplified consequences can destroy us. Okay, so let us look at 5 faulty intentions on which people believe they can be happy. Let's look. Choosing our marital partner or choosing to practice the Dhamma because we're lonely. We need company. Just get married to whoever gives us some attention. Just practice, go and join the retreat because you're lonely, you want to make some friends. What happens? The intention we send out gets amplified. If we practice the Dhamma because we're lonely, we end up becoming even more lonely. If we marry someone because we're lonely, it only amplifies our loneliness. It doesn't elevate, it doesn't remove it, it amplifies it. That's the nature of intention. Be clear of your intentions. If we feel not respected enough, people are not listening to us. We want acknowledgement. Yeah, we want to be respected. So we get married to someone who's rich, famous, because then we can also bask in their glory. No, you can't. People will still disrespect you because the intention was faulty. People practice the Dhamma because then they can tell their friends, look, I'm a spiritual aspirant. I'm above you guys. you'll be ridiculed. Yeah? People do not respect you for your outer actions. They respect you for what you are. Yeah? It only amplifies disrespect. So many people become yoga teachers and dharma teachers to get the applause. They'll attract a crowd that'll cause some misery. Okay, then there is boredom. You're bored out of your wits. So let's get married, have kids, something to remove the boredom. Nope, your boredom gets amplified. Practice the teachings because of boredom. You'll be so bored that you will constantly distract yourself instead of practicing the Dhamma. Because your boredom gets amplified. It escalates. Wrong intention. Painful consequences. Okay, so then I don't really feel I'm worthy enough, but I've found this person who loves me. Yes, they love me. So you get married because it will then prove to you that you are worthy. Does that happen? Nope. If you enter a marriage with a low self-image, your low self-image will escalate. It doesn't disappear. And the marriage will be heading for disaster. Because when you have a low self-image and your partner is talking to someone or laughing with someone and you're away from them, you're at a party, you're over here and they're laughing over there, jealousies will arise. Accusations will arise. You were talking to him. What were you talking about? Why were you laughing? Yeah, it escalates a low self-image. And yeah, low self-image, when you practice the Dhamma, can lead to early rebirth. Early rebirth, because it will escalate those frequencies that are suppressed, and you will not know how to deal with them unless you have proper teacher. And huge complications arise if the intention for practicing the Dhamma is unskillful. Then there are those who get married. They have a fairly good self-image. Yeah, okay, quite all right. They just need to love someone and to be loved by someone. So they find someone to love and be loved by. Not a good reason, because worldly love is extremely fickle, extremely fickle. It is not unconditional. Suffering. I know quite a few people who were dating the person they married for a number of years. Yeah, lovey-dovey. They got married and the marriage fell apart within a short period. All that love, all the promises, vaporized. Worldly love is extremely fickle. That's not why we need to choose marital partner. Wrong reason. Similar, many people attend workshops and retreats in the hope of finding a lovely, honest person to love. There's so many romances take place in retreat centers, in ashrams, in workshops, a lot of romances. But that's not the reason why we should practice the Dhamma. Problems arise. Oh, Lord, Lord. So why is this? Why does this happen? Why is it that faulty intentions lead to fiascos by the dozen? And people don't see. They cannot see that their intentions are faulty because they are not in touch with Dhamma. Okay, here's the reason why. What happens to an aircraft that is off by just 1 degree off on its flight path? Yeah, from India to London, 1 degree deviation in the flight path, they're not going to reach London. They'll end up somewhere in the Atlantic. Yeah. 1 degree deviation takes you way off course. Similarly, just a small intention that is out of kilter with reality can take us way off course from what we actually intended. Yeah, we want to be happy. That's why we get married. We want to be happy and healthy. That's why we practice the Dhamma. But if intention is wonky, out of kilter, we do not achieve our desires. We are way off on a detour. And the destination is suffering. Intentions, wakey wakey. That is why right practice insists that we make time to know our intentions. Why are you doing what you are doing? Is it really in alignment with what is true in this world? Now, the thing is, when we really look deep within ourselves, usually what we find is not something pleasant, but it will always be something educational, not something pleasant. Yeah. Right thinking or right intention. The proof of how well we are choosing, how well we are intending, and then acting upon those intentions can be seen in your present circumstances. If your present circumstances are not to your liking, it's probably because of self-centered desires and intentions that were not on the mark. Yeah, checky, checky. Without guidance, it's difficult to check. So many blind spots, so much self-deception. So, instead of keeping you high and dry, let's take a look at why we should practice the Dhamma. The proper reasons. Doing the right thing for the right reasons and not wrong reasons. Why? Why? What should motivate you to practice the Dhamma? Because you're bored? Because you're lonely? You want acknowledgement? The ditch. Those intentions lead to the ditch. We practice the Dhamma because we believe that there is something glorious in us. And we wish to discover that glory and to share it with the world around us. That's the right intention. We believe in ourselves. Yeah? We wish to discover what is finest in us, because only then can we make our finest contribution to the world. Without knowing what is finest in us, how do we make our best contribution to the world? Okay, let's leave it at that. How about marriage? Marriage, the promise of everlasting happiness. On what basis? On what basis should we be selecting our partner? Marital partner. Legal complications involved. Not just living with someone, marital partner, legal complications, child support, alimony. Remember, marriage is grand, but divorce is 100 grand. On what basis should we be selecting our partner? Because he makes me feel good, must be. When I'm in his company, I feel so nice. He makes me laugh. He's intelligent. He's quite wealthy also. Is that the reason, darling? No, no, no. We need to check their character. We need to check their character to see if they're embodying the right values. So imperative. Not that they make us feel good, not that they're rich and famous, not that they're good looking, nothing else. That they're talented, who cares? Their character. Because it reflects their values. And the most important value they have to embody is personal refinement. In the absence of that most important value, suffering coming. You too have to embody that value. It can't be just one way. Both partners have to value personal refinement. Then a supersonic marriage is virtually guaranteed. Without the right character, even though their talents might be mediocre, they might be not very intelligent, not so good looking, not enough money, but the marriage will be supersonic and it will grow. So although we can achieve many things by ourselves, we're able to accomplish a lot more through companionship. That's why we get married, to double our power for making a positive difference on the planet. Yeah. I was teaching the Dhamma solo for a number of years. Then Sherry came along on the scene in 1994, my assistant. Once she came on the scene and she started to assist me in my work, it was so much easier, so much more enriching, so much. I cannot even tell you how important it is to have someone else beside you to achieve your deepest aspirations. Very, very important. Yeah, I could do it myself. I was teaching for a number of years for myself, since 1989 till 1994, and I was on my own teaching. Once she came on the scene and started to really work with me full time, woof, so much easier, so much more joyful. So although we can do things by ourselves, we accomplish a lot more and even more joy through the right companionship. We need that. Correct? Okay. Another reason why we want to get married. Oh, we're just brimming with joy and love, and we need to share it. We just have to share it. Not because we want it, we want to share it. And the more we share, the more we receive. Yeah? It's an expression of our fullness. We don't marry to fill ourselves. We marry to express the fullness that is already there. Clear so far? Okay. Now, please understand that living insightfully is easier said than done. Why? Because one of the greatest challenges we face, one of the greatest obstacles we face in being wise and loving is not ignorance, as in not having the information. It is the illusion of knowledge. Got that? Say it again. Living insightfully, making the right choices is easier said than done because we are faced with a humongous obstacle to being wise and loving, an obstacle we have to face and surmount. And this obstacle is not ignorance, as in not having information. It is the illusion of knowledge, or the illusion of being wise already. That's the greatest obstacle. Why don't people practice the Dharma? Because they believe they don't need anybody to tell them how to live. They know how to live. Just go to the pub and slosh. Take your cigarettes, have your drugs, distract yourself. That's the way to live. So because of this incredible obstacle, blind spot self-deception, it is important for us to be open to receiving truth serum. Remember truth serum in one of the classes? Reality check from our teacher and from those around us. When people give us some feedback, instead of feeling offended, instead of resisting it, it's important that we check if it is got some little gems of wisdom we can profit from. Truth serum required. Yeah? That's why we need the Sangha. A lot of truth serums coming our way. Keeps our life on track. Okay, let's go on to the next point. Our choice of career. I haven't forgotten it. Choice of career. Most people select their career on the basis of what it will pay, the perks, the power, the position, and so forth. But especially on what it will pay. Money, money, money. Not on how much enjoyment they will get out of it, not on the contribution they will make to the world that is of great value. That's not considered by them. Money. Why? Because of the insecurity in relation to their financial status. That's the intention. So what happens? What happens is that no matter how wealthy they become, they remain financially insecure. That is why even millionaires and billionaires cannot stop accumulating more. It's an illness. Why? Because they're constantly insecure. They have to have more. They don't know a sense of enough. There's no peace in their mind. It's a recipe for a disaster. Wrong motivation. I knew this fellow in Mumbai, real estate agent, living in this one of the most poshest buildings in a good neighborhood with his parents. One day we were talking and he was telling me how his parents were badgering him to get married. But he had no time for marriage because his work was so important. So I said to him, but listen, you've already made a lot of money. Why can't you slow down, buddy? And he said to me, Behram, financial stability is very insecure. You have to make sure for any contingencies. I can't stop working. He never got married while his parents were alive. And then I lost contact with him. I don't even know if he's got married or not. Yeah. But regardless of his wealth, regardless of his success, he remained financially insecure. He was working for money, not for love. Terrible choice to make. Terrible. Ruins your health, ruins relationships, doesn't allow you to sleep at night, and sometimes early rebirth. So what should be the motivation for selecting our job? Well, the best motivation, the highest motivation, would be to serve the good Lord. Live in service to the good Lord, to make a positive difference on the planet. Yeah, not because of money, so that you're a blessing to yourself and other people. We'll be talking about right livelihood in a class coming up. Right? We need to select our vocation on the basis of how much enjoyment we're getting out of it, how it enhances our well-being, our clarity towards awakening, and our finest contribution to the world. That has to be our motivation. Then money, trust me, whether you want it or not, it will come galloping to you. The respect, the honor, the accolades, whether you want it or not, it's a side effect, inevitable side effect. But it should not be your primary consideration. The primary consideration is to select a job that awakens you to your greatness. Because in awakening to your greatness, you honor the good Lord that gave birth to you. Right? Okay. Now, let's look at a couple more. Doing things incorrectly. There's a cockroach in the kitchen, and you don't like cockroaches. Fear, queasiness. You get your slipper, squash. Help it to rebirth before it's time. Now, you might believe that by killing that cockroach, you have relieved yourself of your fear and queasiness. Not at all. Your fear and queasiness has escalated in that action of killing, not gone away. The next time a cockroach comes, your fear will be even greater, your queasiness even more. In fact, you'll be looking, where is the next cockroach coming from? Wrong motivation. You're killing that fellow creature because you're afraid. Your fear doesn't go away, it becomes worse. Not skillful. Here's a challenge. And there's a challenge. And you are scared. You avoid it, you don't want to see it. What happens? It gets worse. Every time a challenge appears, your fear increases. And fear, unless you're a little asleep, fear and worries and anxieties create biochemical storms in the body. Over time, they manifest as illnesses, psychosomatic illnesses, mind-body illnesses. not the skillful. When challenges come, best to bring out your courage, best to bring out your curiosity as to, hey, I wonder how I can tap into even greater forms of clarity inside of me. Yeah, face things the right way. Because whatever you put out into the world gets amplified. Okay, here you are, bored out of your wits. And so you get your mobile and you start fiddling, or you fiddle on the net, on your comp. Distractions. Why do we engage in distractions? Because we are bored and restless. To elevate our boredom and rest, to get rid of it, we get distracted. But what happens? Our boredom and distraction doesn't go away. It might be temporarily assuaged. But once you stop the activity, the boredom and the restlessness turn into a huge storm in your mind. And that storm prevents you from focusing on what really matters. You lose your ability for focused attention towards things of value for extended periods of time. No longer can focus. Then when you come of age, Alzheimer's, dementia, and other not good frequencies grab you because mind is all over the place. You forget things. Not skillful. Wakey, wakey. All right, now that I've given you the bad news, well, it's actually good news. Stay away from unskillful choices. So let us look at the defense against faulty choices, wrong motivation. We all have an unspoken hunger to know our greatness. We all desire to be special. Why do we watch TV and applaud the hero or the heroine? Vicarious living. We hope someday we could do something like that. Yeah, we all have an unspoken hunger to know and to express our greatness. The thing is, we rarely manifest it. We rarely manifest it because we fail to see that we can never outperform a low self-image. And this low self-image needs to be addressed and tweaked correctly so that we can discover our greatness and express it. What's the proof of our low self-image? Doing things for the wrong reasons. And even when we are fortunate enough to come in contact with a great teacher and some great teachings, we do nothing about them. It's all collecting information, but no action. Why? We just don't believe that it's possible for us to know our greatness, to practice the Dhamma, to get out of the ditch. So our practice is wishy-washy. Wishy-washy practice, not very useful. Are you understanding, please? The proof of a low self-image is that even when we discover the means for our liberation, we do very little about it because we don't believe in our worthiness to actually practice the Dhamma well. Hallelujah. So, my dear virtual friends, how do we correct the situation? Hmm. When a flowering plant does not blossom well, flowers not coming, we change the environment in which it grows. We do not change the plant, right? Okay. So when we are not flowering according to how we would like to, we need to change the environment. We need to step out of the zombie forest and connect with the right sangha with the firm intention to better ourselves. Open to truth serums, no taking offense at the feedback we receive from the sangha, especially from our teacher. Yeah, we need to be in the context of the right friendships. Being in the context of wishy-washy friends or family members caught up in dramas, not the right environment, cannot blossom there. So the immense value in really establishing a close and loving relationship with our teacher and our spiritual friends is that we are encouraged to check our motivations, our intentions constantly. Yeah, not allowed to go into faulty motivations. For instance, you hear that your family is going through a little bit of fiascos. So you desire to jump into the family drama. And your teacher says, honey pie, don't do it. But I love my parents. Of course, you love your parents. You can love them from a distance. Do not get caught up in family dramas. Why? Because you've done it before for a number of years. Nobody's listening. Your health has gone down the drain. Stop it. Yeah. But if you listen, great. If you don't, a couple more years of a wasted life. Once I found my calling in 1980, January, and I decided that I was not born to be a graphic designer. I was born to teach the Dhamma, help people to discover their strengths. Once I discovered my calling, then after graduation in 1983, I told my parents, thank you so much for your support in educating me for 28 years. But I'm going back to India. I cannot stay in the US. They flipped out. What? We've paid for your education, put you in a private college in the US for 5 years, big bucks, and now you say you're buzzing off? Yes. Everyone was up in arms. My family, my parents, my siblings, my friends, my relatives, each and everyone said that I needed psychiatric treatment. I had flipped out. Did I pay any attention? Zero. Why? Because my intention to leave the US and to come back to India to practice the Dhamma was in alignment with what the wise people would sanction, not what the world would sanction. No, that's not where my focus was. My focus was on what would a wise person say in relation to my choice. And a wise person would say, go for it, baby, go for it. Why? Because my choice was in sync with universal laws and principles. The amount of people I have helped with that choice by perfecting myself far greater than what I could have done as a graphic designer. Far greater. Yeah. So when we're in tune with the teachings and with the teacher, then we check if our motivations are in alignment with universal laws and principles, not expediency, not cold calculation. Yeah, because that leads to suffering, massive amounts of suffering. Unlike professionals, who can play any shot, virtually any shot, to wherever they choose it to be, amateur tennis players make endless mistakes. Professional tennis is a totally different game to the amateur variety. Totally different. Because pros win points, amateurs lose them. Pros play effortlessly because of the practice they've gone into. Amateurs exhaust themselves. No little practice, little practice. Yeah. Unlike pros who can play virtually any shot wherever they want it to be, amateur tennis players make endless mistakes. Professional tennis is a totally different game to the amateur variety. Pros make points, win points. Amateurs lose them. Pros play effortlessly. Amateurs exhaust themselves running around like chickens without a head on the court. So, when we come of age, when we finally mature after a lot of suffering, we come to realize that dabbling in spiritual practice as an amateur is of little use to us. No dabbling, wishy-washy practice, little use. We have to become a pro. Why? Because it's the only way we can rise to the level of extraordinary. Our preparation has to match it. Remember? Okay. Dabbling in spiritual practice in amateur mode will get you very little fruits. Little. We have to turn pro. It's a different ballgame altogether. Different. So when we turn pro, we come to realize, finally, we wake up to the fact that the way we approach and respond to life is what we receive from it. Simple rule of life, simple law of the universe. The way we approach and respond to life is exactly what we receive from it. What does this mean? We strengthen or weaken in ourselves the identical frequencies we strengthen and weaken in the world around us. Got that? So, it is always important for us to support that which is uplifting and positive in people and circumstances instead of criticizing, complaining, and judging the world around us. Not skillful, because that same thing comes back to us. Same frequency comes back to us. But Master B, there's so many weirdos on the planet. Ugh. Yes, my darling, lots of weirdos. But we cannot poke a blind man in the eye to make him see better. When you're criticizing and you're complaining and you're judging, you're poking people in the eye. They cannot see better. You're making things worse. And that is why we need to train ourselves to see the perfection in life, to see the perfection in the people and the circumstances around us. Seek it out, look at it, validate it, instead of looking for things to criticize and complain about. Whatever we strengthen or weaken in the world around us gets strengthened or weakened in us. Checky how you're living. A major reason why we're unable to craft an extraordinary life is because we entertain low aspirations at the same time. Yeah, we engage in low aspirations at the same time. We're aiming high. We love the Dhamma. We may even engage in the practice, but we do not think our best thoughts towards most things most of the time. This incongruency, we want greatness, but we aspire towards low things at the same time. This incongruency, yeah, is what keeps us in the ditch our entire life. When a house is divided against itself, how can it possibly stand? When there's this conflict within us, we want this, but we live in this fashion instead. How can we possibly, when a house is divided against itself, how can it possibly stand? Wiki. Okay, I observe how often you're using the lens of the Dhamma to process your reality. And how often the lens you're perceiving the world around you with is distorted. Check. The proof will be seen in the quality of your present circumstances. If you're viewing the world through the lens of the Dhamma, your life will be beautiful. You'll be at peace with the world. There'll be no reason to complain or criticize. But if you're viewing the world and responding to it through the lens of a distorted worldview, it will create illnesses in your body, fiascos in your relationships, financial disasters, and, oh Lord, too much suffering. Yeah, the lens of the Dhamma. That's the only lens we need, not distorted lens. No real, decisive change for the better can ever take place till we truly understand causality. Yeah, causality. What does that mean? The law of dependent arising, as taught by the Buddha. Law of dependent arising. What does this mean? It means that life is not capricious, it's not whimsical. Things don't happen by accident. There's no random realities taking place. There are specific causes and conditions. There are specific causes and conditions concealed within every experience. And we need to look at the clues to see which causes and conditions lead to greatness and which lead to us staying in the zombie forest. So here's one clue why you remain in the zombie forest. Here's one major clue, major reason. A major reason why, apart from what I've already said, another major reason, a major reason why we're not gaining traction in our practice, not crafting the quality of life we really desire, is because we don't intend to. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that an eye-opener? We don't intend to. We might say we want it, but there's no real resolve. Intention determines everything. It makes the difference, a world of difference in the quality of our life, our intention. We don't intend to. We might say, yes, I like the Dhamma, I want the Dhamma. But our intention is towards entertainment, busyness, blaming, criticizing. There's no real intention towards personal refinement. No real intention. Please remember, whatever we are not changing, we are choosing. Don't want to choose suffering. So, to really understand causality, we need to understand that the only way to transform the circumstances around us for the better is by first transforming ourselves. Why? Because we are the cause and the condition behind our experiences. We, not parents, not society, not weirdos. No. We are the cause and the condition behind everything we experience. And therefore, unless we change for the better, nothing changes. Because our outer reality is a crystal clear reflection of our inner one. Clean up the garbage in the mind. So, when our integrity is impeccable, which means we are congruent as to what we say we wish to accomplish. We want to be great and to offer our best to the world. Yeah? When our integrity is impeccable and we are congruent in the way we think and act, when we make an art of doing the right thing for the right reasons, then it's absolutely fantastic, fabulous, as to how effortlessly the rest of our life becomes the best of our life. Effortlessly. But we need the integrity to do the right thing for the right reason. Have to make an art of doing these things correctly. No saying I want this, but you're acting according to that. No, no, no. So simply put, inner success is far more remarkable, far more reliable, far more enriching, and profoundly protective of our well-being, not just in this life, but in lifetimes to come. Inner success, yeah, it's far more important than outer success. Outer success is not as remarkable, not as reliable, not as enriching, no, and cannot protect us from suffering if inner success is missing. That is why, my dear friends, right thinking or right intention offers us the tremendous blessing of living in tune with universal laws and processes or principles that lead to our flourishing, not just in this birth, but in those to come. Any questions? Thought transmission. Stay well. See you in the next class. Hallelujah.